Now for everyone's favourite news team on Channel 4 News.
4, 3. Welcome to Channel 4 News with your hosts, Stuart Longgrass and John Roman.
I'm John Roman.
And I'm Stuart Longgrass.
And here you are with the 7 o'clock news with a special report about Dada. The Dada revolution first started in Zurich, Switzerland in 1918 after the First World War. The founders of the movement picked the word Dada out of a random German dictionary. This name assumed to be sound like nonsense and like baby talk. In French, the word Dada means hobby horse, in fact which complied with the political intentions of the movement. The Dada was a rejection of all moral, political and artistic values. The Dada movement was initially for poetry and then extended to sculpture, architecture, photography, film, music and graphic design, and it still has its presence in art today. Tonight, exclusively on Channel 4, we have an interview with Marcel Duchamp. And now we cross live to Stuart. Stuart, are you there?
Yeah, thanks, John. We're all set. We're here with Marcel Duchamp, with the most Duchamp, the most prominent Dadaist going around. Okay, first question: how did your ready-mades become along? Why?
Well, ready-made. My first ready-made was can't even remember what I called it now, but the one with the wheel and the stool. I liked its motion. I liked the way, like a fake fireplace, you know, something to sit around, chin wag, smoke joints, inject heroin. Beautiful thing. I just had it in my studio while I was trying to paint, and I can't paint. That's how it came about.
Fair enough. But how do you consider a ready-made to be art, especially when these something's produced by the hundreds in factories?
Well, where do you buy paint from? From Taiwan. Produced small, sexy Chinese boys. Sorry. Paint produced in factories. Canvases also produced in factories. No one really makes the art, they just put it together. Canvas on paint, wheel on stool.
Fair enough, but you're not really producing anything.
But it's an adaptation.
You're taking other people's work and palming it up as your own.
Other people's work, like what?
But
what?
You weren't the one who really made the stool for starters.
Picasso never made the paint. He didn't trim the tail of a pony and make his brushes.
Well, let's talk about your adaptation to the Mona Lisa.
Beautiful, no? The Mona Lisa.
The original, yes. But I'm not quite sure about your version.
My version? Well, I thought it was quite outstanding. I've done more. I shaved the mustache off Hitler. I painted a mustache on Amanda Vanstone. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Australian too. I do other things. Refrigerators. Paint breasts on them.
But why is this necessary?
Well,
what's it bringing?
It signifies that art is crap. We don't need it. It's bullshit. Like, say, use a Rembrandt as an ironing board. Just to stick it to them.
Okay, well, fair enough.
High society bastards.
Well, last question.
Who are they to tell me I can't vote? Fuck them. I'm a citizen of the world. I might not be from England or Poland or Yugoslavia or Micronesia.
Okay, we might have to delete that one before.
But I can vote for the major leaders of this world. Draw mustaches on everyone. Okay. Anyone I want.
Okay, last question. Okay, what's your favorite part about being a Dadaist?
A Dadaist?
Dadaist.
Well, some people describe us Dadaists as arrogant, brilliantly looking, with a refined knowledge of fine wines. My rebuttal to that is, we're better than everyone. We're not arrogant. We're just better.
Okay.
And I love it.
Well, thanks for that, Marcel.
Love it.
Okay, back to you, John.
I'm not finished! Oi! Let me have it done! Toothbrush, bloody child! Let me go! Oi!
Compelling stuff.
Oi! Put down that petrol! Don't need for the gas! Don't!
I would say so.
Very interesting. What an interesting man, I must say.
Yes. The movement of Dada, the use of the art elements for these daughters, was what made this movement very different indeed. If you go through each art element and break it down, you'll realize how outrageous these artists really were. I believe that in the Dada movement, the element of movement was the most important thing, because it was movement that was used to make these artworks so out there. Marcel Duchamp was one of the pioneers of Dada. His work, Nude Descending a Staircase, showed the way Dadaists used movement in their work. His painting was used like a robot-like nude, walking down stairs, but the difference is they showed each movement of the nude moving, making the image seem blurred out like a photograph. Movement was used in Dada sculpture as well. They would use this in a similar fashion, but converged movement into the sculptures. Movement is one of the strongest elements because no other movement has really stretched the boundaries of this before. But then again, the Dadaists stretched a lot of boundaries. Form was another element the Dadaists wanted to manipulate. The form used overall by the Dadaists was very different. In some cases the artwork seemed almost abstract, showing no form, but there's always a one or two objects that helped show what made these paintings recognizable. Such as the artwork by Robert de Bruni, Windows Over the City in 1912. With the sculptures, it was like a little different. Their works were sometimes normal, everyday objects, so only showing form from these objects, such as Marcel Duchamp's fountain. This was a men's urinal, turned upside down and stuck on a mount. This form of Dada sculpture was popular for a long time, making nonsense art. Dada also had artists that produced collage-like artworks. These two really showed no true form of an object, which their cuttings made no meaning hardly. But, I don't know, these guys were crazy. With all the elements, they were hard to talk about because Dadaists used so many types of art forms, and because there was no real boundaries for this movement, well, the freedom of the Dadaists allowed them to use line, color, shape, form, whatever. They used it as much as they want and however they liked. Let's move across now, back to you, John.
And now we've got an interview with Tristan Zara. Across to you, Steve Flagstone.
Thank you very much, John. Tristan Zara, nice to have you with us.
Tis a pleasure to be here, Steve.
Now, you wrote the Dada Manifesto, is that correct?
No.
I believe you did.
No, I didn't.
No, I have it right here. Do you want me to read it aloud?
Oh, the Dada Manifesto. So I thought you said the Far Mano Cresto.
Okay, so we've established you've written the manifesto, but as an artist, isn't it true that you don't necessarily agree with manifestos?
No, I don't believe in them. It's other manifestos. Mine was different. We see, manifestos usually written in cursive. Mine was typed by a typewriter. Very different. And I explained in my manifesto my deep, dark hatred for manifestos. So as long as the reader knows that I'm not producing an everyday manifesto. Why did I call it a manifesto? Why not a journal or a script or the title's all wrong.
Well, isn't that a tad contradictory? Illogical?